Unmute. Okay, now.
Can you hear us now?
Sorry. Can you hear me now? How's the audio? Give me some feedback, guys. No sound, no sound. Here we go. Audio.
There's a lag.
Okay. So is the audio better, worse, or the same? Because we're trying to up our game.
Clearly, we're really good at
it. You can tell we're right on the ball here.
Oh,
we muted it. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, if you're new, this is Dr. Barry, and I'm NEIAHA.
NEIAHA. I misspelled Neisha's name. So even though I can't spell my wife's name and I can't work the audio equipment, I am a family physician. Been practicing for 20 years, and she is a registered nurse, certified breastfeeding consultant, and health coach, and she's been practicing
nearly 20 years.
Nearly 20 years, yeah. So we've been doing this a minute, but not the audio part and not the spelling my wife's name part. Hey, there's Homestead Buckeye. Yeah, it was great.
Homesick Buckeye.
It was great to see you in Louisville, Kentucky. That was awesome.
Thanks for not punching me.
I would never do that.
What are you doing?
Going back, we missed something here.
Yeah, we can click on start now. You don't have to scroll up.
Hannah, husband's been doing carnivore for 3 weeks. Blood pressure today was 180/100. Physically fit, other than a very small amount of belly fat. Any ideas? Yeah. So taking a blood pressure reading one time and freaking out about it, you don't have to freak out about that. Okay. If he was tired, if he was mad, if he was upset, if he was anxious, any of those things will make your blood pressure go up. Okay. There's nothing about a carnivore diet that makes blood pressure go up. So have him sit down, watch my YouTube video on my YouTube channel about how to actually check a blood pressure properly, because 99% of doctors' offices don't check it properly. And if you check it properly after he's sit there quietly for 10 or 15 minutes, which is the way all the research was done, then I think you'll find his blood pressure's okay. And he may have had high blood pressure before you started this and you just didn't know, and now you started checking everything. So just check it twice a day, roughly 12 hours apart. Check it properly according to the steps in my YouTube video, which is not me making that up. That's how all the research on blood pressure was actually performed. So if you're not doing it properly, it's going to be falsely high. And don't freak out about one measurement. If it stays that high, he needs to see his doctor, but I predict it will not stay that high.
We got people from Arkansas. Here's somebody from Denmark.
Dang, where are you watching from? What city, what state, what country? I want to know. Type it into the comments.
Alabama.
There's Alabama.
What's up, neighbor?
Denmark and Alabama. That's about as far apart in the world
as
you
can get.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Be fit to be fit. I suffer from conditions A, B, and C. I'm still a human. Do you think it would benefit from a proper human diet, or should I just eat like I'm a pig on a feedlot for the rest of my life?
So be fit to be fit is being sarcastic. And so a lot of you guys, if you've just heard about keto or ketovore or carnivore or a proper human diet, you're like, yeah, but I've got diabetes, hypertension, eczema. I've got this condition. Is it okay for me to eat a proper human diet? And so this sarcasm serves a purpose, because be fit to be fit is saying if you're a human being and you are alive, you're going to benefit from eating a proper human diet and avoiding all of the high carb inflammatory crap that the big corporations try to sell you.
What is a proper human diet, Doctor?
Oh, a proper human diet. So on Twitter, day before yesterday, this guy, I was like, what's your definition of food? Because we were having this little Twitter fight. And I'm like, I don't think I mean what you mean when I say the word food. And the guy who was a physical therapist said anything that contains calories. I'm like, okay, that's not my definition of food, because, you know, if you found a dog turd laying in your front yard, that's got calories in it. Maybe not many, but it's got a few. So that's food, really, by your definition? So our definition of food, which is very important, because people throw words around and you got to know what you're talking about. So what is food? Food is something that is full of nutrition, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, right? Got to have the nutrition. That's why we eat. Some of you may eat for pleasure. We'll talk about that later. The next thing is you don't want things that you're eating for nutrition. You don't want them to be inflammatory in nature. You don't want them to cause bloating or stomach pain or joint pain or skin problems or mental health problems. Thirdly, you want it to be something that human beings as a species have eaten for a long damn time. over 13, 14,000 years. That's how long you want humans to have been eating it, so that we've evolved to eat that, and it's okay. People are eating now and saying things are healthy that we've literally only been eating for 4 generations. That doesn't give up evolution long enough to catch up. You realize we've only been eating cottonseed oil as a species for 4 generations. Canola oil, 3 or 4 generations. We need to have been eating something as a species for hundreds and hundreds of generations, so that our body has gotten used to it and adapted to it and said, yep, that's food for me. A proper human diet always includes meat. Hopefully red meat, but it can be seafood. It can be pork and poultry. It's eggs for sure. That's a proper human diet. Nutrient dense, uninflammatory, ancestrally appropriate, always includes meat, and it has to be low in carbohydrates. It is inappropriate for any human on the planet to eat a high carbohydrate diet. It always leads to metabolic disease. Okay, that's the basic principles of a proper human diet. So first of all, you have to define what is food. So tell me, you got in the comments, I want to know, do you think Lucky Charms, is that food or is that not food? Does Lucky Charms meet your definition of food? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments.
I feel like we know the answer.
I bet there's a few out there who's like, no, my dietitian said I can eat Lucky Charms. It's fine in moderation.
Okay. While we're on this inflammatory topic, we've had a few people ask if we are concerned about censorship on YouTube. This is a very hot topic going around. A few other content creators in our space have made videos concerning this topic. We are a little concerned. I feel like it's unrealistic to not have a bit of, realistic. This seems a little concerning, but we are working to have fail-safes in place should the powers that be decide that Dr. Berry has said something that deserves to be censored. I don't know if you type in Dr. Berry, if he's getting, what do they call it, shadow banned?
Yeah.
For some people, they say that it is happening. Some people are like, no, I can find you just fine. But
yeah, you guys try it either now or later on. Just in YouTube, type in Dr. Berry Keto. Just see if my videos pop up or what pops up.
To be safe, if you want to make sure that if something happened, you would be notified. Dr. Berry has an email list. If you go to drberry.com, there's a little box on there. You can just put in your information and you'll get put on the newsletter. That's a way for us to be able to contact you if something did happen. We'll also be sending out some freebies and cool stuff on that newsletter the next month or two. So if you want to sign up for that, it's totally free. I have a newsletter as well on my website, NeishaLoves.com. But those are ways that you can make sure if something happens, we're able to be like, hey, we're here now. You can find us on Rumble. Dr. Berry's already on Rumble.
Yep.
Another way is if you're in the community, then you obviously, no one can take that from you.
Did you know that we have a private protected community?
So that's another way. If you're in the community, then you'll always have access to us until you decide that you don't need us anymore.
How would they get in the community?
So drberry.com/community. And so you'd have access to all of our content. We're going to be starting to put our videos inside of the group organically so that they live there and not just on YouTube. And then we also do extra live streams. We have coaches and moderators in there to help answer questions. And we just have a good time. It's just a fun time in there.
Absolutely. Either Neisha or I or one of the coaches, every day there's probably going to be somebody live in the group answering questions. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. And then we'll go over here.
So we are on Pheno Barbie Doll.
Pheno Barbie Doll. 1 year carnivore. Have gone from 189 pounds down to 139 pounds, but I can't seem to get rid of menopause apron. Hormones are balanced, no stress. I don't want the skinny arms and legs, but I've got the pot belly look. Help. So if you've had babies in the past, for you women out there, and yes, I believe that there are men and women out there. I think women are the ones that have the babies. If that triggers anybody, I guess we can't be friends.
We're probably not your people.
Yeah. So I'm a biologist and a doctor, and she is a nurse. So we kind of know about the sex of humans. So if you had babies, sometimes you're going to have a little baby pooch left over, just from the changes that take place during pregnancy and childbirth. But typically, if you're doing some degree of intermittent fasting, you're going to notice that skin slowly but surely tightens up through a process called autophagy. And I actually have a video about this on YouTube, how you can shrink that loose skin from weight loss that you may have left over. And ultimately, the quickest way to get it fixed and the most expensive is to go see a plastic surgeon. But if you don't have the time or the money, or you just don't want to take the risk of surgery, then you implement some degree of intermittent fasting in your diet and spike up that rate of autophagy, and then give it time. It's going to take months, but it absolutely will make it better.
Rachel, North Dallas.
Hey.
What's the best Brazilian restaurant for my friend and I to go to this Saturday or Sunday in North Dallas? So we like Fogo de Chao a lot. Texas de Brazil is good too.
Yep.
There are some that are local to Texas, I think, that are just in Texas that you can probably Google, do a quick Google search. I will say Fogo de Chao has on their buffet bacon.
Watch out.
It is candied.
Yeah.
So if you're like, look at
sugar.
all this bacon, and then you get a bunch of it, and then you get back to your table and you take a bite and it's covered in sugar, that's a problem. That happened to us, and we were like, oh.
What a waste of bacon.
Yeah.
What a waste.
But all of them are really, really good. We've not been to a bad one.
Yeah. And let me tell you guys a secret. When you go to one of these all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouses, when the first guy comes over, they're always going to send you to the salad bar first, because they want you to fill up on the cheap junk at the salad bar, all the lettuce and crap. Don't do that. Okay. Sit there at your table, maybe get a little cheese, maybe get some bacon if it's not candied, and sit there and wait for the meat guys. And when the first meat guy comes, he's going to bring chicken because that's the cheapest meat. And you're going to say, no, I do not want chicken. I need the lamb chop guy and the ribeye guy and the picanha guy and who else? That they
have a bacon wraps thing sometimes.
Bacon wraps, sirloin or something.
You know.
But you just tell them right up front, I do not want any chicken. I do not want any pork. Whatever you do, just tell them. Don't even send those guys over here. I don't want to see them. That's what I do. And I say it very nicely. And then they're like, oh, okay, gotcha. And so they don't want to be told no, even though they don't care one way or the other. It still hurts their heart a little bit when you're like, no, I don't want any damn chicken. So they just don't come over there. And they just keep rotating the ribeye and the lamb chop. And I
usually take the whole sword of lamb because that's my favorite thing.
We're just like, we'll take all that. So that's a little trick at the Brazilian steakhouse.
Semi-retired Bob, 17 months today. No more drugs, no more sickness. Leaving for Texas soon to start building my own new house by hand. Wow.
That's what a proper human diet will do for you guys right there. That's what it'll do.
That's a proper human man right
there. That's right. Living a proper human life.
Good job.
AJC, cholesterol 233, LDL 163, non-LDL 179, triglycerides 78, HDL 54, vitamin D 31. That's low. Glucose 84. Know if these are good numbers. So they're all fine except your vitamin D's low. And you want to get that up between 50 and 100. Otherwise, you're in good shape.
Thanks, Janet. Kismeta. Been keto 6 weeks. Still have 4 to 8 ketone ratings in my urine. Do some people not adapt? Just give it more time. Don't want to hurt my kidneys.
Yeah. So there's nothing about a ketogenic diet that's going to hurt your kidneys. Okay. What's going to hurt your kidneys is eating high carbohydrate food that spikes your blood sugar. The leading cause of kidney failure in the United States is high blood sugar destroying the kidneys through processes such as prediabetes and diabetes. And so that's what destroys your kidneys. Ketones are good for your kidneys. They're not bad for your kidneys. Okay. Also, any of you guys, especially if you're on a carnivore diet or a ketovore diet, stop wasting your money on urine ketone sticks. You don't need them. Okay. You're going to be in ketosis the majority of the day. You don't have to waste your money on that. Okay. Now, if you're eating a ketogenic diet with lots of keto products, ketos, cookies, cakes, and pies, what's that sweetener, that big bottle that I got? They gave away samples. It's in the floor right there.
Chalk Zero.
Yeah. If you're eating Chalk Zero, then you definitely need to be monitoring your ketones and your blood sugar, because it'll make your ketones drop and it'll spike your blood sugar.
Also, it's not great
as
a product.
Yeah.
There's better things out there. I will say the blood ketone reading is better. And if you are someone with a diagnosis, like a neurological diagnosis, seizures, mental health, if you need that therapeutic ketone level, you're working with a provider in the ketone space that's like, keep those up, it's going to help you. blood ketone reading, not urine anyway.
Yes,
So
always.
Keto
Always,
Mojo,
yes.
Bio Coach, there's several on the market now.
Yes, exactly. Todd, thank you for taking the time to talk with me in Louisville. I hope you had a better trip home. It was better in ways, but then worse in other ways. But I got home, and that's the thing that counts, and got to hang out with this lovely vision of just pure love in the flesh. Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
He's so sweet.
Provost, can you talk about long-term fasting? And hello from the road in Knoxville. Hey,
We'll be up that way in
Provost.
just
Yeah, we're
a
headed
few
that way
days.
in the end of this week.
Yeah.
So long-term fasting, if somebody is severely overweight, severe obesity, then I think that extended fasting is perfectly safe and perfectly healthy and perfectly fine, and it works great, especially if you combine it with a carnivore diet. So if any of you guys, if your BMI is 35 or higher, like you're severely overweight, carnivore diet and daily intermittent fasting, and then with a 2-day fast once a week or a 3-day fast every other week, that's gonna help you lose the weight as fast as is healthily possible.
And help with autophagy.
And help with the autophagy, shrink the excess skin you're going to be left with. Absolutely.
I think I saw Benazotti talking today about the Guinness World Book record for a water fast, and it's something like 300 days, around 300 days.
380 or 480 days.
Yeah, and the person went from like 300 pounds to 180 pounds. They had all that fat on them, which is energy, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, people get really worked up about fasting. If you want to do it, do some research, but
if you're going to be going
complicated about it
longer than 5 days, then probably work with a healthcare provider.
Yeah, this guy had a medical
he had a team of doctors, and he was taking vitamins and minerals and electrolytes and salt and water. And so he was getting all the vitamins and minerals that he needed. He just wasn't taking in any other kind of nutrition. And so his body just basically ate up all the fat.
It's a powerful tool.
It's very powerful, but not everybody needs to do extended fasting.
No.
Thank you, Always Learning. Thank you, Janet.
I think Janet's meaning to put a question in there and is having trouble with that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Janet.
Kyrie, ferritin 2, iron 27, iron binding 481%. SAT is 6L. Is the series. What should I do? By the way, before we answer this question, this is not medical advice. Dr. Berry is not your doctor, and I'm not your nurse. This is a YouTube channel, and UPS is here at 6:20.
Neisha will be right back. She's going to let the UPS guy in. So it's very possible that you have iron deficiency anemia or something else going on here. I don't know which reference lab you use to have these checked at, so I don't know what the reference ranges are for you for these labs specifically. Now, this is something that we do much more of inside of our private group is answer kind of more complicated questions like this, because then I can actually see the lab sheet and I know which lab you had it checked at, Kyrie. But follow up with your healthcare provider. This, even if this is a thing, it's not a dangerous thing. It's not a thing you can't reverse with the proper human diet. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Chuck. Vince started Carnivore 3 weeks ago. I had surgery for a fissure 2 years ago, and the doctor recommended that I take and use fiber supplements, Metamucil. Do I still need to do this? No. There is more millions of dollars wasted on Metamucil than almost anything else at the pharmacy. It is a complete and utter waste of money. For many people, it's very inflammatory to their gut. People with Crohn's or ulcerative colitis or irritable bowel, their doctor tells them, take some fiber, and they start taking Metamucil and their gut gets worse, but they never make the connection. I bet it's the Metamucil because their doctor said that's what you need for your gut. So they're like, I guess it just got worse. I don't know. You don't need the Metamucil. Metamucil is a complete waste of money, and in many people, it can cause inflammation in the gut. Jared, 1 month on Carnivore now, RBCs, hemoglobin, and hematocrit are high. Is there a link? Maybe. Go see your doctor and ask about this, and ask to have your doctor check a full iron panel and to maybe check you for hemochromatosis. It's very rare that people actually have that. In some cases, these numbers can transiently go up for a while and then they come back down and normalize. But follow up with your doctor and see if there's a link. Darby, what do you make of Professor Bart K going after Dr. Robert Sivis? Also, 1.5 years carnivore, type 1 diabetes and Graves, C-peptide from 0.4 to 0.6, TSI antibody from 6.1 to 4.3. Thank God for finding you both. Yeah. And so with type 1 diabetes, you absolutely need to be on a proper human diet, either keto, ketovore, or carnivore. Those are going to give you the freedom of having a normal hemoglobin A1C, number one. And number two, they're going to give you the freedom from all the disastrous complications that come from uncontrolled type 1 or type 2 diabetes. Many doctors out there will tell a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, oh, as long as your A1C's under 7, above, 6.5, that's fine. No, that's not fine. You're doing permanent damage every day to every little artery in your body when it's that high. You want it to be 5.6 to 5.0. That's fine and normal. That's how you live a long time with type 1 diabetes. That's also how you reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay, now, even this person who's been diagnosed as type 1, you can see they're still making insulin. Their C-peptide's 0.4 to 0.6. If they ate low carb enough, aka a carnivore diet, it's quite possible that they could come off almost all their insulin and still have normal blood sugars and a normal A1C. Work on that very slowly, Darby, and work on that with your doctor. And I think you'll be very, very pleased that you did. You get Ragnar.
Ragnar.
Right.
What would be your dream blend of ground beef, fat, lean ratio, and organs? So we have our own ground, we buy a cow every year, and we have him make it a certain way. So we do
70-30.
Is it 70-30? 70-30 with all of the organs.
So heart, liver. We just got heart and liver this time, but next time I'm going to tell them to put
all of them.
We're going to put the heart, liver, spleen, and pancreas. That's going to be in our. The kidney's got a little taste to it. I don't know if you'll like that. I don't know if you'll like that. But those 4 in ground beef, you cannot detect that they're there. They give you tons of vitamins and minerals that you'd otherwise it'd just be wasted. They'd throw it away. So why waste that super nutrition? Those are superfoods. Also, the organ meats are a great source of vitamin C. If any of you carnivores out there are worried about where I'm going to get vitamin C, eat the spleen, eat the pancreas, eat the liver. They're rich in vitamin C.
Thanks, Josh. Catherine, I'm a 63-year-old, 5'6", 97 pounds. Doctor prescribed,
nortriptyline, 50 milligrams for appetite and for idiopathic sural nerve pain in the left foot only. Side effects are terrible. Also have reflux. What would you recommend? Well, obviously you're having side effects from that. And first of all, at 5'6", 97 pounds, you're not technically underweight. You're actually just a normal size human. That's the size of all humans 100 years ago. You would just look normal. But now I know around your friends and family, you may look very, very too skinny, anemic, bony, right? But that's actually a normal size human. I wouldn't be trying to give you anything to stimulate your appetite unless you want to get fat. Nortriptyline, it can increase appetite, but it has a 2-page list of possible side effects, some of which are quite serious. That I would not pick that for appetite stimulation, and I don't think you need that anyway.
Talk about exercising, lifting weights.
Yeah, if you want to put on some weight,
not running.
Yeah, if you want to put on weight, lift weights. You'll put on muscle, and you'll make your bones stronger. Both of those things show up on the scale.
2 things that we didn't get from the cow this time, but I will be asking for next time is the tongue.
Yes.
And the brain.
Yes.
I don't know why we didn't get that. I don't think it was on the sheet, and so we just didn't think about it at the time, but we love beef tongue. Mm-hmm. It's a weird process to cook it, but man, it is
once it gets cooked, it's as good as filet.
It's better.
You like it better than it's really awesome. So if any of you guys have access to a butcher, ask them to save you a beef tongue. And then you'll watch a couple of YouTube videos about how to cook beef tongue, and then you'll go, ooh, gross, and then you'll cook it. And you'll be like, oh, my, damn it, that's good. It's
really gross to cook.
It is gross to cook, but it's delicious.
Thanks, Susan.
And if we're going to sacrifice the cow, why not eat every single bit of that cow?
Yeah. Just some guy. Is carnivore appropriate for someone suffering with severe acid reflux, esophagitis, possible LPR, and SIBO while temporarily on a PPI and an H2 blocker? Yeah, what I would do, just some guys, I would transition, whatever your diet is now, I would transition slowly to that over to carnivore over the course of a month or two, because the PPI and the H2 blocker are blocking all your stomach acid production, which is very unhealthy and very bad for you. I've got a video on my YouTube channel about why taking a daily acid blocker is very, very bad for your long-term health. But as you convert to a carnivore diet, you're going to notice that your reflux and esophagitis
get much, much better as the weeks go by. And you'll be able to, first of all, stop the H2 blocker. Okay, stop that one first, and you can stop it cold turkey. And then you can start taking the proton pump inhibitor every other day for a while, then every third day, and then finally stop it. Don't stop the PPI overnight, or you could have rebound heartburn, which is not dangerous, but very uncomfortable. The SIBO, when you go carnivore, the SIBO will be gone in 2 weeks. Okay, the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth goes completely away when you stop filling up your gullet with carbohydrates. Okay, so yes, everything you've got is going to get better on a carnivore diet. Stop the H2 blocker, wean down the PPI very slowly, and you're going to be very, very happy with the outcome. Meeting male, I get it. 41-year-old female, currently type 2 diabetic. I like how you said currently, because if you associate with us long enough, male, you'll say, I used to be type 2 diabetic. Newly carnivore, blood pressure normal. Doctor wants me to take Ramipril to help protect my kidneys. EGFR 79, not a statin, but is this a good idea? So if you are going to continue to eat a high-carb diet and have chronically high levels of blood sugar and insulin, and therefore blood pressure, then probably, yeah, it would be. But if you're committed to carnivore and you're not going to stray from that, not only is your type 2 diabetes going to reverse and go away, your fasting insulin level is going to come back down to low normal, and those two things are going to protect your kidneys more than taking $1 million worth of Ramipril a day. And Ramipril is cheap, so that's a lot of Ramipril.
Did you skip Jazzy?
I guess I did.
Yeah, we're working on making sure the closed captioning is turned on every single time we go live.
I remembered it tonight. We got that one. Jim, I ate 20 eggs today. According to most doctors, I will probably die soon. Is this what dying feels like? Because I feel great.
Right.
Yeah. So eggs, the macro profile for eggs is just perfection. They're full of vitamins and minerals. Some few people find the whites of eggs to be a little bit inflammatory to their gut, their joints, their skin. But the vast majority of people, eggs are they're just a superfood, especially if they're pastured.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Make
absolutely.
Sure they're pastured, not just free range, because free range doesn't mean anything anymore.
I want all you guys to be looking for a local source of eggs. I want all you guys to be looking for a local butcher. I want all you guys to be looking for a local source of pork, chicken, beef, venison, turkey, all of it. Look for a local source. I promise you, within 2 hours of where you live, there is a rancher that is dying to meet you. They've got the meat. They can't find anybody who wants it. Find them. Okay.
Real quick, a shout out to our moderators. If you see a blue name with a blue wrench beside of it, those are people that have been with us for a very long time. If they answer you in the comment section, that means Dr. Berry has just answered you, because they are telling you what he would tell you.
They've been training with us for years now. They literally, if you ask me a question, they're sitting at home going, blah, 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 blah. They know exactly what I'm going to say. So if somebody with a blue wrench answers you, consider that from me. Texas Plow Girl. Dr. Berry, can you talk more about the lion diet as a subset of carnivore? Yep. So if this big circle right here is a low-carb diet, if you tighten that circle up more, that's a ketogenic diet. If you tighten it up more, that's a Ketovore diet. Yeah. If you tighten it up more, that's carnivore. And then if you really tighten it up to ruminant animals, salt and water only, that's called a lion diet. And for many people with autoimmune conditions, carnivore helps, but the only way they can put that autoimmune condition in complete remission is to eat a lion diet. Michaela Peterson, our friend, she popularized this a few years back. She eats, I think, exclusively a lion diet, which is just either beef, sheep, or goat, or venison, camel, reindeer, water buffalo, depending on where you live in the world. And also gazelle and all those animals as well. These are ruminants. They digest their food a special way, which makes their meat especially clean and especially uninflammatory for people whose immune systems are hyperacute and liable to freak out over the smallest thing. For some people like that, even chicken and pork and some fish can cause inflammatory responses that confuse their immune system. So that's what the lion diet is. Not everybody needs that, but some people need to try it for 30, 60, or 90 days just to see how good they can feel. You do, Juby Joe.
To share, my CVE diagnosis stands for common variable immune deficiency.
Yep.
Did the immunoglobulin therapy for 2 years. So cute. I stopped it and now I'm doing better.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an immune deficiency syndrome. And very often these are diet related. These are dietary cause conditions. You do have the genetic predisposition, but when you replace your nutrient void standard American diet with a nutrient dense proper human diet, all of a sudden your immune system's got all the building blocks it needs to work properly. So huzzah.
Dennis, what do you think about peptide therapy? Research shows that BPC 157, I can't read that.
Yeah, ipamorelin and other peptides accelerate healing in the body. Thanks, Dr. Berry. So it's possible. I've read all the research on 156 and ipamorelin. I'm not convinced. I have actually played with these in years past, but I'm in no way convinced that they do magical things. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that there's just no benefit whatsoever, but for the price you pay for these, I would expect some astounding results. And I haven't seen that in any of my patients or in myself personally. I don't recommend them and I don't use them, but I have tried them. So therefore I know what I'm talking about.
Sherry on a low-carb journey. Thanks, Dr. Berry and Neisha, for teaching me about the proper human diet. 54 years old, down 60 pounds.
Huzzah!
Celebrating 900 subscribers today. I'll share the proper human diet till I die.
That's how you do it. So think about this. If you're just sitting there going, wait, she started a YouTube channel to talk about this? She's not a doctor or a dietitian? Yeah, that's how powerful a proper human diet is. It transforms your health and your life to such a degree that you just become enamored with it and you want to share the benefits with everybody you can get in touch with. That's what Sherry's doing. She's like, oh my God, I got to pay this forward. This is amazing.
900 people. That's a lot of people.
She's not a doctor. She's not a dietitian. She's just a nice lady who transformed her life and her health almost miraculously. If you didn't know the physiology, you would think it was magic, but it's not. It's physiology. But she's so in love with this that she wants to help other people attain the success that she has attained. Sherry, thank you so much for what you're doing. Don't ever stop. Zinyu Gun, been having diarrhea for 1 month now, on carnivore for 2 months. I get it about 5 to 10 minutes after every meal. No history of IBS. Do you think it's the cold carbonated water I've been drinking with my meals? Probably not. The way to know for sure is to do an experiment for the next week. Don't drink the cold carbonated water with your meals and see if that fixes it. If it does, great. If not, then back to the drawing board. If you've been carnivore for 2 months and you're still having this diarrhea, probably should see your doc. The fact that it happens 5 to 10 minutes after you eat, there's actually a reflex that some people have that when they eat a very nutrient dense meal, they got to go poop. This happens to a lot of people. This is not just you. And then other people, this doesn't happen to them at all. It's probably not dangerous at all, but do see your doctor just to be safe. The shameless infidel.
Josh, outside of red blood cells living longer, is there any other reason my A1C is higher than when I started being strict carnivore for over 1 year? Filet mignon, eggs, and fish oil was 5.2. Now it's 5.8.
Yeah. So one thing I would recommend is that you bump up your fat intake, and that's going to just naturally bump down your protein intake a little bit. For some people, that fixes this. I have spoken with Professor Ben Bickman and several of the doctors who are in the low carb sphere, and we all tend to think that the red blood cell in your bloodstream, which typically lives on average 110 days, is probably living 120 or 130 days because it's built out of better building blocks. But that gives it longer to glycate, and so you wind up with what looks like a higher A1C, but you're really super metabolically healthy. Maria, 5-year-old boy, epilepsy that he'll grow out of, can't tolerate medication, started keto with success, now worried about decalcification and bone density and nutritional sufficiency in general. Thanks. Yeah. So when they first started using a ketogenic diet for seizure disorders back in the 1920s, they basically just made the kids drink vegetable oil. Okay, that's how they got the fat in. And if you do that kind of ketogenic diet, that will put you in ketosis and it will prevent seizures, but it's also it's nutrient void. Okay, your little one needs to be eating a high-fat ketogenic diet. That is one of the most nutrient-dense diets on the planet. It's very high in protein. which is what bones are made out of. Bones are not made of calcium. That's a common myth. Bones are made of protein. And so if your little one's eating plenty of meat in his diet, then he's going to have very strong bones. If he's eating plenty of meat, if you're able to sneak some organ meat in there, like by putting it in ground beef, like we do, Beckett and Bonnie they eat beef heart, beef liver all the time. Each of them have eaten pounds of beef liver and pounds of beef heart in their life, and they have no idea because it's in the ground beef, right? If you do tricks like that, Maria, your little one's not going to have any nutritional deficiencies whatsoever, and is going to have very strong, resilient bones and also very strong muscles. And I'm hoping this is like a childhood epilepsy that they'll grow out of completely. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that. That's only if you do the ketogenic diet inappropriately do you wind up with those things. But that's a great question. Sherry, thank you both for being a wonderful resource. Mash that like button, please, and thank you. So if you're in the South, mash the like button. If you're anywhere else in the world, hit the like button or press the like button. That's the thumbs up. And that smash, that's right. Smash the thumbs up.
Did we get cracked again?
No.
My husband has finally come on board watching your videos. He has come to me with info I've been telling him about all along. More meat for him.
I love this. We hear this all the time. One spouse,
you're
like, oh yeah, I've been telling you that, dummy. Like one spouse, it becomes keto aware, and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they do it, and they try to tell the other one. The other one's like reading the paper, like, right? But then that one sees the benefit in the other one, like, dang, she's looking good. Are those your old genes? Dang. And then all of a sudden they're watching Dr. Bear videos and getting healthy. And then they start trying to teach the OG about keto. And it's like, honey.
Yeah, I told you.
I tried to talk to you about this 6 months ago. He's like, I don't remember that.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. I don't remember that.
Donnie, both of my parents, ages 66 and 70, are both instructed to limit beef to once a week due to a risk of diverticulitis. They're doing a version of Dr. Furman's vegan diet. Thoughts on this?
It's complete ignorance. Now, I'm sure that the doctor that told your parents this means well and truly believes in his or her heart of hearts that this is the way. This is this is foolishness. This is based on no research whatsoever. There's not a shred of research that proves that eating red meat increases diverticulitis risk. Indeed, we have hundreds of people in our private group who used to have flare-ups of diverticulitis all the time. And now they eat only red meat. And they never have flare-ups of diverticulitis anymore. Like for years, they haven't had a flare-up. I've got a YouTube video about diverticulitis and some of the foolishness that doctors tell patients that is based on nothing whatsoever. Diverticulitis is caused by eating things that inflame your colon. That's certain plants. It's not the meat, my friend.
Tammy, 62-year-old female, Ketovore 1 year, fasting 16-8, 40 pounds down, history of AFib, 2 8-hour surgeries, 10 years apart, can't get my PCP to reduce my meds, cholesterol
351, LDL 235, HDL 106, triglycerides 71, take metoprolol 50 milligrams once a day, blood pressure is normal 110/70. So your current doctor is scared that if they stop the metoprolol, that your irregular heartbeat will come back, that the AFib will come back. But you've had 2 surgeries for this. So if the AFib is most likely fixed, what you need to do is go see a cardiologist or go see a new cardiologist and say, look, I've had 2 surgeries for this, okay? My blood pressure is 110/70. I feel like it's getting too low with this metoprolol. Can I try a trial period of a month and just not take it for a month? I'm not going to throw it away. And that way, the doctor, it kind of gives them liberty to say, well, yeah, we'll try a trial. But if you say, I'm not taking this anymore, that spooks doctors. So I'm just going to try a trial off of it and see what happens. And I'll go back on it if I have any AFib. Then the doctor will be like, yeah, do that. And then if you don't have AFib, you can just not take it.
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, how's it going, my friend? I want to say thanks for all your assistance. 6 months into treatment for metastatic melanoma and just got the all clear.
That is amazing. I'm so happy to hear that.
You can now call me Ned. No evidence of disease.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ned.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Call me Ned. Call me Ned.
Oh, my Lord.
Huzzah, Bruce. I'm going to kiss you right on the mouth next time I see you. I just made somebody jealous. PETA. Hey, this is for you. Anybody get that reference?
Watching from New Zealand. 55
Yay.
years old, carnivore since April, cured GERD, 4-year skin condition, gum disease, anxiety, chronic postmenopausal cervical pain, lost 14 kilos.
That's about 30 pounds.
I'm normal size now. Can I cure the calcium stone 5 years in my shoulder?
Maybe. You're going to do that by continuing to eat a carnivore diet, by doing physical therapy. You may need a order from your doctor. Talk to a physical therapist and say, look, I don't want surgery. I want to work this thing out. Teach me the exercises to do it. It's going to be painful. It's going to be very slow going, but it absolutely is possible. And at any point, if you just fail and give up, there's always surgery. Okay. But I predict if you will do this diligently and daily, you're probably not going to need surgery on that shoulder. But I won't just wait right here for a second. I want everybody to look at PETA one more time. Cured GERD, heartburn, reflux. It's gone. 4-year skin condition, gone. Gum disease. How many of you guys have gingivitis? Periodontal disease. Wouldn't you like that to just go away? Carnivore does that. Anxiety is gone away. Anxiety. Chronic postmenopausal cervical pain, gone. Huzzah, PETA. Huzzah. Worthy Prince. Since starting carnivore 5 days ago, I am already noticing I don't feel hungry between meals. More energy, better sleep, and better mood. And I've lost 7 pounds in 5 days. Just trying to get my head around the high-fat content. Obviously, it's working. Just keep doing what you're doing, okay? When somebody freaks out about how much fat you're eating, just say, yeah, but look at all these benefits.
Scott, my wife tries to go low carb like a keto or carnivore. She gets very emotional and sick with low energy. What could be causing this issue?
And
Hashimoto's.
This is from Hashim, or is this Hashimoto's?
No.
Oh, he's guessing. It may be Hashimoto's. Maybe it could be. She needs a
Hashimoto's.
full thyroid panel check to see if she has Hashimoto's. There are 2 tests that will diagnose this. Most doctors don't check them. It's a TPO antibody
But that wouldn't cause this.
and a TG antibody. But you need to know one way or the other, because it could be causing the low energy. But
that's not from
that's
the
right.
lower
Yeah.
carbs. What's probably doing that is that she's not eating enough.
That's number one.
She's not eating enough salts or not taking electrolytes.
Yep.
And this transition phase, she just can't get over that hump. The
Yep.
first few weeks sucks.
Yep.
Usually,
Absolutely.
unless you go slowly. Like we went paleo, low carb, keto, then we went to carnivore.
Yes.
So we didn't just go straight overnight.
Yeah.
So she may need to ease into it.
Absolutely. And the other thing that could be, especially the emotional part, she's probably a carbohydrate addict. She's a sugar addict. And all carbohydrates, regardless if they're from broccoli or from a jelly donut, they all break down into sugar. Her body and her gut bacteria are used to getting all that sugar every day. And that stimulates endorphin release. It's like a high you would get from drugs. It's not as extreme, but it's the same exact physiology. When she cuts all the carbohydrates out, she's going through carbohydrate withdrawal. And that can make people will just break down crying for no reason. Just like if you quit smoking, quit alcohol, quit drugs, it's going to suck for 3 to 14 days while you withdraw from that. Once you get on the other side of that, it's going to be much better.
Also, if she's afraid of fat and she's not eating enough fat, like that, you need that fat, especially in the beginning, to get you fat adapted. So that's important.
Absolutely.
Could be many things, but definitely if she thinks she has Hashimoto's, she needs those labs done.
Yes.
Tina,
I have stage 4 hiatal hernia. Can it be fixed without surgery? So I actually have a hiatal hernia. It's not stage 4. I used to have severe heartburn. I have 0 heartburn now on a carnivore diet. If the reason you want it fixed is because you're having severe reflux, heartburn, esophagitis, Barrett's esophagus, I would do 90 days of carnivore. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Eat as much as you want. Eat as often as you want. Eat until you're comfortably stuffed. And then at the end of that 90 days, if your symptoms are 90% better, or like for me, gone, then why would you have the surgery, right? But you owe it to yourself to do 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs before you lay down for the surgeon to do what it is they're going to do to you, because surgery to fix a hiatal hernia often has complications, and they'll tell you about those complications if they haven't already. Some can be quite severe. And so realize that you can have a life free of heartburn and reflux and esophagitis, even though you have a hiatal hernia. Now, stage 4, that's a bigger one than I have, but still, I would try 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs before surgery.
Steve switched from plant-based to keto, lost 100 pounds. Carnivore for about 4 months. Cholesterol is 366, triglycerides 67, HDL 70, LDL 283.
Yeah, so you may keep noticing that every time we talk about triglycerides and HDL, I give the thumbs up, but I don't give a thumbs up or down when you talk about your cholesterol or LDL. And that's because I believe that all the research we have about total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, I know for a fact that all that research was done by the drug companies selling the drugs that lower cholesterol. They were in charge of the study. They hired the researchers that worked on the study. They had liberty whether they wanted to publish the results or not. And if they didn't like the results, there are multiple studies on statins that never got published because they didn't like the results. They just hid them. It's called the file drawer problem. So I don't care what your total cholesterol is or your LDL cholesterol, as long as your triglycerides and your HDL are good, your A1C and your fasting insulin are good, you're metabolically healthy. Huzzah and congratulations.
Adrienne Hayberries from Adelaide, Australia.
Hey.
We have friends that used to live in Adelaide.
Yes.
Strict carnivore for 6 months, except for drinking 0 carb alcohol 3 times a week is stalling my weight loss.
Yes, and it's
not 0 carb really.
Yeah, it's not 0 carb, but it's also beating up your liver. Okay, your liver's probably been abused enough. If you want to have 1 drink a week on the weekend, 1 ounce of liquor. They said mixed drink, right? Yeah, 0 carb. So it's probably alcohol. Yeah. But if it's beer or wine, it's not 0 carb. I can just tell you that's a myth. There's no such thing.
Well, I just feel like alcohol in general, you should just treat that as a carb.
Absolutely,
really.
Yes. But if you want 1 ounce of a liquor in a mixed drink that's 0 carb and 0 sugar once every Friday night, that's probably not a big deal. But if you're drinking 3 drinks a week, that's too much. That's gonna do some damage to the liver. Yeah. And if you guys
also, if you're stalled, then
100%, yes.
Yeah.
Any of you guys drinking every day, thinking, "Oh, this red wine's good for my heart." I don't know why.
That was paid for.
The wine companies, yes. They literally sponsored the study. Come on, guys, don't.
Isn't that crazy? That should not be legal.
You can't study this stuff like Neisha and I study this stuff. But at the same time, if somebody says, "Hey, did you know that smoking crack cocaine will add 5 years to your life?" You should immediately be like, "What?
Questionable.
What?" Yeah. So when somebody tells you that drinking alcohol is good for you, they either are currently ignorant or they're trying to sell you something, aka alcohol. So yeah.
Also, let's just take a moment to talk about this T-shirt on this hot, sexy man over here. Okay, if you would also like to look hot and sexy,
wait, let me do my forever face.
You can go to shopphd.com and pick you one up. We have long sleeve T-shirts, we have V-neck T-shirts now, we have sweatshirts and hoodies, all that good stuff. Shopphd.com. You too can look as good as Dr. Barry.
I try my best. I don't know. Chuck, Dr. Barry for Nobel Peace Prize in Health due to saving so many lives.
Huzzah.
You know what I think, Chuck? I think that the Nobel Peace Prize for Health in medicine, I don't really think it's based on how many lives you save. I think they have other criteria for which I don't meet the criteria. So, but thank you. I would accept it, but I doubt I'll ever be nominated.
Oh, this is a good one. Hey, Dr. Barry, with all due respect, how did you score as such a babe?
100% agree. Just last night, I was trying to figure that out. Like, wait, what happened?
Oh,
yeah.
He's there?
I mean, I'm all right.
He's pretty cool.
Hey, Ashley.
Ashley. October 28th, I'll be off Clonopin for 1 year.
Nice.
And
so for those of you who are like, what does that mean? Clonopin is a benzodiazepine, and it's one of the most habit-forming drugs on planet Earth. And when you try to come off Clonopin and some of the other benzodiazepines, it's you almost have to be hospitalized for a year to come off these drugs. And Ashley's doctor, who started her on Clonopin, didn't mention that fact, that it might take you a year to withdraw and come off this. Most people's doctors don't, when they start them on Valium or Xanax or Klonopin or Ativan, they're not like, now, you know, it might take you a year to wean down off this.
Because most people never get to come off of those medications.
Right. They just keep them on those,
forever.
which they're literally, it's like alcohol in pill form. It messes with your mental ability. And it's habit forming. But doctors don't say you may have to be hospitalized to come off this. Because I think if most people, if you told them that, they'd be like, they'd make that face like I did earlier. Like,
but also, most doctors aren't thinking that patient will ever be able to come off those medications. Yeah. But when you eat a proper human diet,
like
high fat, animal based, please go. If you are on any mental health medications and you have not read Brain Energy.
Yes, Dr. Chris Palmer.
It's on Audible and Amazon and Kindle. Go get that right now.
Yes, brilliant book. He is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist who is basically saying in his book and on his Twitter feed that modern psychiatry has lost the plot and they've got it all wrong. It's all about metabolic health and nutrition. 90% of it. Huzzah, Ashley. Well done. You. Well done.
Amy Lou, husband has been keto for 1.5 years, diagnosed with CHF, CKD, type 2, 8 years ago. CHF is good since was 3 times
a day insulin injections. Okay. Now down to just 1 insulin injection a day. Kidney function was low at 43, but now 37. What do you advise for improving the kidney function? So I don't know what the trajectory of his kidney function has been, but the vast majority of people who are eating clean, real, whole food keto, which means half your meat plate covered with fatty meat, half your plate covered with low carb veg, that's keto. Keto is not keto cookies, cakes, pies. Keto cereal, keto pancakes. That's not keto. Okay. That's people trying to make money off you being gullible. He really needs to be on a carnivore diet, at least for the next 90 days, and monitor the kidney function very, very closely. I'm afraid what you guys believed was keto was really promotional keto to sell products. And that can actually harm kidney function almost as bad as eating the high carb standard American diet.
Dr. Westman calls it internet keto.
Internet keto. That's right. Yeah. Influencer keto.
Influencer keto.
Yeah.
Juby Joe.
Barrett's esophagus, common variable immune deficiency, Wilms tumor in 1964, osteoporosis, and of course scoliosis because I'm missing a kidney. My breeches never fit right. Much love. Any tips on which thing? So if you have Barrett's, you need to be carnivore because Barrett's is caused by chronic inappropriate reflux into the esophagus. When you fix that, the Barrett's is just going to go away on its own. Okay. Barrett's does not always progress to cancer. Sometimes Barrett's just goes away, especially if you're eating a proper human diet. The Wilms tumor, I think, has probably already been handled. Osteoporosis. I have videos on my YouTube channel about osteoporosis, osteopenia, osteomalacia, and bone strength. Watch all of those videos and apply those principles and watch your osteoporosis get better. Check a BMD once a year, and each year your bones will be stronger.
M. Murray, thoughts on low carb keto for Parkinson's? Any new studies on the helpfulness of a diet for Parkinson's?
There's 2 studies going on right now about using a ketogenic diet, therapeutic ketogenic diet for Parkinson's disease. These studies are going on as we speak. No results are in yet, but I can tell you guys that just from the physiology of this, any neurological condition, whether it's Alzheimer's or any of the other dementias, Parkinson's, Huntington's, any of the neurological disorders you're going to slow down the progression and you're going to decrease the severity of the symptoms by eating a very, very low carb, ketogenic, ketovore, carnivore diet that's high in fats. Absolutely.
David, been on carnivore 6 weeks now, but haven't seen any improvement in mental or physical energy levels. Is it possible I still haven't transitioned?
Depending on what conditions you have, David, and how long you've had those conditions. Some people have had conditions for decades. 6 weeks may not be long enough. That's why we tell everybody how many days they need to do carnivore.
90 at least.
90 days, at least 90 days.
To really.
Yep. 3 months.
The full transition because it's it's like this.
Yep.
It's not just woohoo.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Right. I can't read that. That's all you.
Jay sadly had a resection due to Crohn's at the terminal ileum section, dealing with bile acid malabsorption. Any tips? told to be low fat because of it. Yeah, that's bad advice. You need fat on a daily basis in your diet. You need animal fat for proper function, for proper propulsion. If you want your health to be optimized, you've got to have animal fat in your diet every day. Okay. So yes, but having part of your colon taken out is you can still digest meat just fine. Okay. Meat never makes it to your colon. Meat is completely digested and absorbed before it ever makes it to the jejunum, much less the ileum. Okay. The meat is already gone. It's already in your bloodstream by then. It does not make it to your colon. So I don't care if you've had all of your colon taken out, you can still benefit greatly health-wise from eating lots of fatty red meat.
Michael, I'm 38, and over the last few years, psoriasis has set in. I'm currently on Otezla, and it's not working anymore. I have lost 25 pounds. Is carnivore for me?
100%. Yeah. For some people, for most people with psoriasis, it gets better on keto, real whole food keto, not the influencer keto. But some people, in order to get the psoriasis to go completely away or to get it down to where there's just one little patch on your leg or the back of your arm, you got to go carnivore. Yeah. And I would say do 90 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and then reassess. And I think you'll notice that the Otezla is just not worth the copay anymore.
Debbie, where do we place recipes for your review? There's not a place for that. I don't want to eat if it's not a good recipe, salmon recipe. Here's how you know if it's a good recipe. How many ingredients are in it? Are there carbs in it? Count the carbs.
Yep.
And just if you are making it yourself, also you can adapt it. If there's something in there that is not Debbie friendly, for instance, if you're trying to cut out sweeteners and the recipe calls for a sauce that has a sweetener, leave that out.
Yeah. And for most real human food like salmon or beef,
you don't need much.
Literally, if you just put some salt on it,
salt and butter,
some
boom. Garlic if you're feeling fancy.
You could remember the dog turd in the front yard I was talking about earlier. You could go get the dog turd, put some salt, butter, okay, and cook it a little. It's going to be the best turd you've ever eaten.
Simple is best.
Yes.
Just remember that. If it seems complicated, it's probably not the best.
Yeah,
recipe.
The best food that Neisha makes, and she's a magnificent cook. The best food that she makes literally takes her 3 minutes to throw together and 5 to 20 minutes to cook, depending on the cooking the way she does it.
I rarely use more than 5 ingredients.
Yeah,
and at least one of those, 2 of those ingredients are animal fat and an animal protein. So really, three ingredients.
Yeah. You know, if a recipe's got 80 ingredients and takes 3 days to make, I'm not interested. I would eat it, but I ain't going to cook it.
You can see what he cooks.
Yeah. I mix everything together. It takes me 3 minutes to make a meal.
It's not good.
It's delicious, but she thinks it's gross.
Anthony, on carnivore diet 70 days. Today, my ketone urine sticks have been reading negative the past week or so. What's up with that?
So stop wasting money on ketone urine sticks. Okay, they're known to be inaccurate. Number one. Number two, once you're keto adapted, you often won't have a high ketone reading anymore on a urine stick or even on a blood test. You're keto adapted. You're burning the ketones as you make them. Okay, so don't waste any more money on ketone urine sticks. And if any of you guys are on a ketovore or a carnivore diet, you do not need to check your ketones. It's unnecessary waste of money.
Unless you are someone with one of those diagnoses that we spoke about,
like neurological
or mental health. I think
yes, 100%.
Understanding that, but once you know what you're eating, you're in ketosis. You've done it long enough. Like I never check my ketones because I know
I never check my ketones. I haven't checked them in 2 years.
Every now and then somebody will be like, "You're not in ketosis because you're not eating."
So we'll check it.
I'll check it, and it's always like 2. So I'm like, okay, we're good here, people.
Yeah.
RB good fat. Had to remove a molar that cracked, and dentist wants me to get a sinus augmentation and an implant. Any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. So this sounds very expensive. Now, who's going to make the money for this? Is it going to be the dentist who recommended it? Anytime. So that's a moral hazard. Do you understand? You get that? Like if I'm a mechanic and you come to me and I'm like, oh, you need a new motor and a new transmission and a new paint job. And you're like, well, it's just the air pressure is low on my tire. Are you sure I need all that? Nobody would blindly believe a mechanic if they said that. They'd be like, I'm getting a second opinion. You guys forget if a dentist says something, if a dietitian says something, if a doctor says something, it is your right as a human being to say, you know what, thank you for that. I'm going to go get a second opinion. And always go to an unconnected doctor, unconnected dentist who's not in the same practice. And don't tell them which doctor said that. Just say, a dentist told me that I need a sinus augmentation and an implant. I want you to examine me, and I want you to tell me if I need that. If you say yes, then I'm going to go back to that dentist and let him do it. Do you see how that takes the moral hazard out? That dentist ain't going to make any money. So that dentist is going to tell you the truth. He's going to say, yeah, you do need that. Or he's going to say, hell no, you don't need that. They're just trying to make money off you. You guys got to be smart. You can't just blindly believe your doctor or dentist. Doctors and dentists are just dudes and chicks. They're not demigods. They're not special. They're not omnipotent. They're not above morality and ethical concerns. They're people with bills and problems and anxiety and maybe substance abuse. You never know. The leading rate of suicide is in doctors because currently their life sucks. Don't trust your life blindly to a doctor. Get a second opinion.
And on that note, our children are home.
Baby Bears.
Beckett had a little incident today, so he's on
the injured list.
He's very needy.
He was helping me with the sheep in the pasture, and he got an injury, and so he's really milking it. So we've got to go and love on him. So thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for hitting the share button and helping us reach new people. We're going to be live again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Central inside of our groups, our community. So if you want to be there for that live, there's a link in the show notes
and on the screen
that says join our community.
We will see you. No, we won't. We will actually be in Gatlinburg for a retreat next Monday, but we will be back the week after that, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, that's it. See you next